Hello, you awesome friends. This is your pal, Edwards here speaking. I'm so happy that you're watching this interview because I have got one of my incredible mentors that helped me turn my life around. He's an amazing guy. He's from the United Kingdom. God save the Queen. He's from Manchester. He's been on TV everywhere. He's highly successful. We've got motivational guru Brad Burton. How you doing, Brad?
Kicking it ass as always, Ed. Lovely to catch up with you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my virtual background on. I'm going to do that and show you. Look at this. There you go. So people can see what I do in the UK.
Wow. And I've got to say, for the sake of the audience, I've known Brad for many years. I spent a lot of time with Brad, probably a good 5 years ago, and Brad really helped me turn my life and business around. And Brad, I just want you to, again, your credentials speak for yourself, but Brad, I'd love you to tell the audience how you change people's lives and tell everyone what you're thinking, how to cope in these times and how to win. Brad, the floor is yours.
I've turned my own life around. You know, I'm 47 now. And up until about 31, 32, I was a bum. I never achieved anything. I've done 4 years on benefits. I've been addicted to drugs twice. I got shot at when I was 21 years old. And you know, I was brought up on the mean streets of Manchester. And I always thought that success and a life of success and happiness was for somebody else. You know, somebody who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or something, it's okay for them. And I never thought that life would be open to me. And about 31, 32, I told my employer to shove his job up his backside, and I walked out of the job and said, I'm going to go start a business off. I was £25,000 UK pounds in debt, and didn't really know what I was going to do. But what I did know is I was getting older. I wasn't getting any younger. And I started off a business called Phone Networking, which in business networking terms, in the UK, they had the loony left of networking where nothing quite happened. It's all very nice, Chablis and Bolivants. And then you had the hardcore right of networking. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? You have to attend. I'm thinking, where was the mainstream of networking? And neither the left or the right appealed to me, and I created basically the mainstream of networking in the UK for networking. And in 14 years, we've run over 5,000 meetings across the UK. And what's really interesting about that is I started from nothing. All I had was three things, Ed: ideas, vision, and belief. And it's about belief. It's about belief. And we changed the UK networking scene, and now we're changing it globally. But more about that later.
Brad, I love what you said earlier, and you talked about something called belief. Now, Brad, I've got to say, I'm going to compare you to Margaret Thatcher. If she's the Iron Lady, you're the Iron Gentleman. How did you create such an ironclad belief, and how do you encourage other people to do it, Brad?
So if you think about this whole situation when I said I'd done, 4 years on benefits, I've been addicted to drugs twice, I got shot at, and it was on the kind of mean streets of life. And actually, I realised that I wasn't getting any younger. I realised that whatever I was going to do, I needed to do it. Now, if it was left to me, the reality is I'll just sit there smoking bongs all weekend. However, what changed was my children came along. That's my kids' tattoos. My boy came along, Ben, and for the first time ever, I realised it was no longer about me. It was about higher purpose and doing it for. So if you can't get your belief right for you, do it for someone you love. Do it for something you care for. And that's what changed my life. Because when I started Phone Networking off, genuinely had nothing. Nobody took me seriously. I'm this motivational speaker in the UK now. I wasn't. I'm an author of 4 books. I wasn't. So this new Brad has been created. But here's the thing. My ingredients haven't changed. I'm still the same guy that I once was. The difference is my recipe has. And that's what I'd suggest to everyone, to say, look, you have the power right now to be a better version of yourself. What you've got to do is you've got to find a reason to be that better version. And for me, it was my kids coming along. And for the first time ever, I realised it was no longer about me. And I had to switch from the short-termism to medium and long-term.
That's incredible, Brad. And I love that because ironically, my journey is quite similar to yours. And obviously, you're an A-class speaker these days. I know you get paid a lot of money to speak at great conferences and go on television and more. Now, going back a little bit, the bit I love that what you said was you're talking about ironclad belief, but you're also talking about no one took you seriously at the start. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so there's something I call, right, which is a race score, right? Now, this is one of my big things. If there's one thing that I could teach your audience, this race score will change everything, okay? So when I first started out, clients include JTB, Costa, the business shop, which is like really big clients on the right or left or whatever it is. Now, and Zero, in fact, Zero, who you guys know. So I spoke at ZeroCon, the opening speaker on day 2 there. But if I would have rang when I first started out and I'd said, hey, is that Zero? Yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. I'd be interested in speaking at your event. Send us your stuff, Brad, and we'll have a look at it. If I would have contacted all those clients, big clients I've got in the UK, they would have just gone, all right, not interested, right? But here's the reason, because back then I had no reputation. Back then I had no assets, no show reel, no video, no quotes about people or books that I've got. I had no credibility. Nobody knew I was Brad Burton, the founder of 4 Networking. Nobody knew I had no experience. So if you was to mark me on a scale of 0 to 10, when I first started on each of those figures, my race score, reputation would have been 0. My assets, 0. My credibility, 0. My experience, 0. You fast forward 14 years, my reputation is 10 out of 10. My assets, 10 out of 10. My credibility is 10 out of 10. My experience is 10 out of 10. I've spoke over 2,500 times in public. So all of a sudden, this is the way that you do it. So this is applicable to every single business. If you're watching this right now, this race score applies to you as well. So you can gauge where you are in how your peers view you. So as I've managed to get, my race score has increased, so has my confidence, because here's the thing, success breeds confidence, confidence breeds success. So the more confident you feel, the more successful you become. The more successful you feel, the more confident you become, and so it begins. Now, if you're feeling unsuccessful, like I was going back 15 years ago, I had no confidence either. So this whole persona, this whole Brad Burton, the motivational speaker, the founder and the author and everything, has been built, but it's grown as I've grown. And this is where people go wrong. People approach me and say, hey, Brad, I want to speak on the highest level. You can't skip the steps. You cannot skip the steps. If you start at the bottom of the step here and there's 12 steps in my house, how do I get to the top? I can run, I can try jump, but all that will happen is I get to step 3 or 4 and get bruised knees. Is that really what you want? So you can't skip the steps, and that's what I'd say to people. And this belief has to be stepped as well. So you can't become, if I would have got a gig like that ZeroCon, 3,000 accountants there, year 1, and I would have died, that would have been my speaking career over. But everyone wants to do it. Everyone wants to be the top man. But actually what you need to do is you need to be your own competition. Compare you to you. And that's exactly what I've done.
I love that. And you used the term called, was it race score? What does that stand for, actually?
So reputation, assets, credibility, and experience. So if you were to write down on a scale of 0 to 10, you're actually in your world, in your field, your race score, and then go back 5 years ago and look at your race score. Yeah. And actually that's how people are judging you externally on that race score. It's fabulous. It's a great methodology to be able to see where you are and actually what areas you need to work on. For instance, assets could be show reels, photographs of you speaking, workshops, whatever. You've probably got all those photographs everywhere, but you've just not collated them onto your website. So that's exactly what we do. A good example of that, by the way, go to my website, bradburton.biz, and have a look at that, the way that we position that. It's to really elevate the race score as high as possible so that people who don't know me can go there and go, okay, this guy's credible.
I gotta say, I love how you put that, Brad. And it's funny, actually, and I was just saying this to you before for the sake of the audience. I took off about a year ago as an influencer on LinkedIn, and now about a week ago, my LinkedIn kicked in again. I'm growing at least 300 followers a day now, which I'm very excited about.
Exponential, yeah.
Now, it's funny you say the word exponential because something clicked about a week ago. I know I crossed that weird point. And I just crossed, actually, half an hour before this interview, 29,000 fans on LinkedIn, 29,000 followers.
Amazing.
And what I've noticed is what you're saying, I have a lot of people who've known me. I have a lot of old clients now coming back to me. You're not just saying to me exactly what you said. Ed, you've now made it. I want to work with you again. I imagine you've had that. You've had people from your past come back to you saying, Brad, I now want to work with you. Is that, I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the great thing about that is where I'm at now is I've been through some ups and downs in my life, and you'd have been there. You was there for me when I went through some. 8 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown, and the great thing about a nervous breakdown is you get to rebuild yourself differently. And the people who were there for me throughout those times are still there for me throughout this time, and vice versa. It's easy to back a winning horse. Anyone can do it. I do get a lot of people coming back out of the woodwork and then kind of tapping me up. And the answer is no. What was the question? And what I mean by that is that I'm not, I've got enough people who have been on side to support them. And you can't save the world. I've tried. And that's one of the contributing factors as to how I end up unraveling. I had my own problems going on, but I would help every single person, regardless of who that person was. And there comes a point when actually, it's like the planes in the event of an emergency, place your own oxygen mask on before you help others. That's what you've got to do. Because the old Brad, I was the kind of guy who would give a beggar my last pound. And then I realized something, that you then have nothing left for yourself. And something changed in me when I realized this, that the best way that I could help the world is by getting me strong, by getting me more influence, by getting me more income. Because the more power I've got, the more clout I've got, the more people I can help. Whereas the other way was kind of really give everyone handouts and end up with nothing yourself. So for me, yes, I've had a lot of people approach me, and I did a blog, which is a fascinating blog, which if you Google my name, Brad Burton, with hello mate, you'll find it. And effectively it says, you have reached this blog because you've somewhere along the way just reached out, you've asked, have you got 5 minutes, and all the other things that you get associated with it. And I said, the reason that you want to reach out to me, or hello mate, or have you just got 5 minutes, isn't because of my boyish good looks. It's because of Brad Burton, the founder of 4 Network and the author and so forth. That's why you want to reach out. Now, I was driving 200 miles in the UK, and when I got home, I had 13 requests within that 3 hours or whatever it was for, can you just help? Can you just look at this? Can you just, I had 13 requests, and I said, this is unbelievable. Even if you spend 5 minutes on each of them, you're in for an hour and 10 minutes. So it was like, I had to say no. And that's exactly what I've started doing now. I've started saying no to people, not being rude, not being, uncharitable. It's just that, our biggest asset that we have is time. Since we started this interview, Ed, you're 15 minutes closer to death. We all are. And actually, nobody kind of, death happens to other people, never us. It's always someone else who dies. People, this is our most important asset, time, and you need to use it wisely.
Oh, that's incredible. I love where you're going, Brad. And now we've dug into the detail. What I'd love to ask you, Brad, is in our last 10 minutes, what are some of the big core pieces of advice you have to people, especially now during the times of Corona? We're in a crazy time. What's your advice to people here, right now in these crazy situations?
Mate, what's wonderful is that timing couldn't have been better. I put this on screen here, right, on purpose. So what I'm about to share with you is something that Bentley Global, the management team at Bentley Global, used this from a decision-making process. And the reason that Bentley Global used this as a decision-making process is because I taught it them, me, Brad Burton, the former drug addict, Brad Burton, the guy who's done 4 years on benefits, Brad Burton. So you would never know that about me. We've all got a side of ourselves that we don't want people to know, or we don't want to share. Well, actually, when my life started becoming liberated was when I stopped hiding from my past, and I just shared everything. So when it comes to making decisions, the reason we don't make decisions in our life is why we're scared. We're scared of the wrong ones. But let me tell you something. Here's the thing. A mistake is only a mistake after the event. No one, including me, wakes up and says, I'm going to go fuck up today. Doesn't happen, right? but on occasion it does. We make mistakes. But here's the thing. I believe an expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. When it comes to business networking, made them all. When it comes to business, made them all. When it comes to speaking, made them all. When it comes to marriage, I've made them all. Right? and every time you make a mistake, it moves you one step towards being an expert. So when it comes to making decisions, the reason that people don't make decisions is they're scared they're the wrong ones. Now, if you make a decision and it's the correct one, it moves you one step towards success. If you make the wrong one, it moves you one step towards being an expert. So this here, 24. When it comes to me making decisions, I am the easiest person in the world to sell to. I'm the easiest person in the world to make decisions because I will make a decision in 24 seconds. If I can't make a decision, Brad, do you want to come on my podcast? Yes, please, Ed. Interview. Perfect. 24 seconds. Done. Right? If I can't make a decision in 24 seconds, I'll revisit it in 24 minutes. If I can't make a decision in 24 minutes, I'll revisit it in 24 hours. If after 24 hours I can't make a decision, I've just made a decision. It's no longer important.
Yeah. Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha.
So where people end up in their life is a direct result of the decisions. We're all one decision away from a completely different life. So throughout this time right now, you can sit there and you can be pissed off about the way it once was. And you think, well, I can't wait for it to go back to the way it once was. It's never going back to the way it once was. And if you continue to believe and hold on to the past, thinking that thing keeps you safe, you're going to be one of the losers. Because I'll tell you something, throughout all this time, when this all ends, and it'll end at some point, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers. There's going to be big winners, there's going to be big losers. And what you do today and these decision-making processes that you make are going to define whether you're on the winners column or you're on the losers column. And when it comes to, for me, I've had to change my entire business. I've had to change my entire business. I run 5,000 business networking events, local, face-to-face. I did until COVID-19 came along and boom, it fell off. That was it. So I've had to change for online.biz. I've had to change. And this is what we all need to do. We all need to change. Not resist change, but go with it. No matter how difficult it is, go with it. Look at me. I'm just a guy with no qualifications who got shot at, who got addicted to drugs, done 4 years of benefits, never amounted to anything in my life. And yet, somewhere along the way, I'm now a motivational speaker. Somewhere along the way, I've written 4 books. I now run a multi-million-pound business. See? So what changed? I did. And that's what you've got to do. Go with the change. Don't resist it.
And on that note, I mean, you have got an amazing sense of faith. And when you saw a 5 year ago version of Edward, I lacked a lot of faith, right? Now, I was going to say, I'm sure you get asked this all the time. I love to ask you religious and spiritual questions if I can, Brad.
Go, please.
Do you believe in God? Do you pray? What's your thinking on that one? Because you've got an amazing sense of faith. That's quite admirable.
Great question. So there's 2 things. I've prayed to God 3 times in my life, and that's when I've run out of lifelines and options. And I'm quite good with that because that God is there for me when the shit hits the fan and I've run out of lifelines. And actually, I quite like that about my God. Now, my God is have I got a God? So I'm not really religious, but however, what I have got is I've got my own religion called Bradism, right? Which is help many, hurt few, live life. That is my code that I live by. Help many, hurt few, live life. And people say, well, why do you have to hurt anyone? You don't, but through a series of decisions. See, in everyone's life, you'll be a villain in somebody's hero story, Ed. Somewhere along the way, you might have broke a heart that you never intended to, but you did break a heart.
Yep.
Or I've done it, and it was never that was never the outset. From the outset, that was the plan. So, in terms of my religion, it's a strange one. I kind of have this all-seeing sentiment. God that is there for me when the shit hits the fan and I've run out of lifelines. And I'm quite good with that. I think it's quite an unconditional love type God. I don't pray, but yeah, I have three times I've prayed, 3 times I can remember definitively, and that's when I really had no options. And that's quite nice and soothing. That's there for me. That.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I had a feeling. So yes, you believe in God, and you believe God is out to help you, which I agree with. Right? It's funny. I could. Just so you know, I'm a Christian preacher, so I could pick these things from a mile away. And I think there's something there because you do believe in God, and you do believe God has your best interest at heart. And it's funny. I think a lot of people are not sure if they believe in God, and if they believe in God, they think God's out to kick their butt. What do you think of that?
For me, like I say, I think I've managed to create something which allows me to make a positive difference, right? Each and every day. There's lots of things that people don't know and see about me, which is all good. I'm out there helping people, and I get approached by a lot of religions if I will speak or interested in joining or whatever. I don't understand the principles behind it. It's a bit like multi-level marketing. And I get approached on a weekly basis and actually say, no, I'm not interested, only because I don't have the time. But for me, I think my view on God and religion is, I like the bit that you've got an unconditional person thing, it being God, that is there to support when you've run out of lifelines, and it just works for me, and I'm comfortable with that. And actually, I think that most people, when you run out of lifelines, will look towards something. But yeah, I do remember 3 times I prayed. Amazing.
Brad, I think it's incredible. And as we bring this interview to an epic close, I just want to ask you, Brad, what are some closing thoughts you have for our wonderful audience around the world?
Be you. Fundamentally, be you. Don't be a carbon copy about what you believe a web designer should be or that a business owner should be. I'm living proof, that you can be anything that you want. And the moment that my life turned around was the moment when I stopped listening to what the world told me I needed to be. And actually, people said to me, "Oh, Brad, you'll never get booked as a motivational speaker due to the fact that, you look like a drug dealer, you've got tattoos and shaved hair and this and anything, you wear jeans and trainers, and nobody will take you seriously." If you look here on the background there, Ed, people at the highest level are taking me seriously. And those people that gave me the advice to not be me and to actually not wear jeans and trainers and to wear a three-piece suit and a pocket watch, I'm now outpacing them. So somewhere along the way, this is about you being your own competition. Don't listen to anyone else. Stop comparing your life to other people. Don't compare it to Anthony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Richard Branson. Compare your life to you. If I compare my life now to where I am now to my life that in the previous life, I'm like different worlds. That's what you've got to do. And, we can't all be handsome. We can't all have hair. We can't all be, but what you've got, your ingredients that you've got right now, your ingredients that you've got, do the best recipe that you can with them and be you.
It's incredible. Brad, thank you so much. Absolutely appreciate you. And I suppose you answered this question before, but I guess if people want to find you, all they need to do is just type Brad Burton and you're all over the internet. Is that a fair point?
So, but yeah, please, and do have a look at 4nonline.biz. We are taking this global, actively looking at setting up groups around the world. And it's, with this whole Corona thing, we've all had to change, every single one of us, and you must change. Use this opportunity to change. Use this opportunity to make change, because we'll look back at this time in 10 years' time and hopefully fondly to go, gosh, do you remember that when we was locked down? That's mad. Because this time, God willing, right, we're never going to have to experience again. But do not let this time pass you by and not have made a change because you'd have missed a lesson.
Yeah. Brad, thank you so much. I got to say, I really appreciate you being on our wonderful show. And I was going to say, everyone, Brad Burton's amazing, guys. Helped me turn my life around. Brad, thank you again. And I just want to say, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ed. Cheers.